Welcome to this Pixotope tutorial. In this video, we'll cover how to import assets into the Pixotope editor. Importing assets into Pixotope will be very familiar for Unreal users, but also easy to understand for those unfamiliar with the procedure. You can import all of the common 2D and 3D file formats, and in this video I'll show you how to import an FBX 3D model with PNG texture files. The first step when importing assets is to navigate to the desired destination folder. We recommend keeping an organized folder structure to keep your project easy to navigate. Once in the desired folder, you can simply drag and drop files into the content browser to import them. I'm going to start with my 3D model. Once we have dragged our 3D model file into the content browser, we get a pop-up window with some import options. Most of these can be left on their default values, but some of them are important to be aware of, like the Combine Meshes option. This will weld all the 3D objects inside the 3D file together to one single object, which is very useful if you don't want every little component to become its own asset. Some 3D models may have hundreds of 3D objects, so you will in many cases want to enable this. Another useful one to be aware of is the setting for normal import. You can allow the engine to compute new normals for you, which will overwrite the ones in the 3D model. This could be a good thing if you don't have any normal data you want to keep, but can be a bad option if you've edited your normals to add extra detail to your 3D model. The last option to be aware of is the option to import materials. Most 3D softwares have different methods for constructing materials, but often build upon the same principles. In this case, the material present in our 3D model is not one that is compatible with the engine, so we'll have to do some manual setup. I'll select Create New Material. Let's hit Import, since we're happy with our import settings. We then receive a warning that no smoothing information was found in the FBX scene. We can ignore this and move on. I'm going to drag my model into the scene to see how it looks. As you can see, my 3D model has a basic material already applied. This material was automatically generated upon import as we enabled the Create New Material option. If I open it up, we can see that the material just has a simple linear color connected to the base color. So next I'm going to import my textures. I have a normal texture, an MRAO texture, and also a diffuse texture. I can import all of them at the same time by dragging them into the content browser. Now let's put these textures into our material. From the content browser, drag the texture files into the material graph. Each texture will be automatically added as a texture sample node, which we can then route to our main material node. First, I'll delete the base color node that was automatically generated. Then I'll connect the RGB of the diffuse texture node to the base color input. Next, the MRAO, which is short for Metallic, Roughness and Ambient Occlusion. The red channel is used for metallic, green for roughness, and blue for ambient occlusion. And finally, I'll connect the RGB of the normal texture node to the normal input. After making the necessary connections, we can hit Apply to apply our changes to the material. Now we can see that the 3D model has a lot more detail after importing these textures and adding them to the material. For more information on this or any other Pixotope subject, please visit the Pixotope Help Center, link in the description.